Yo, what is going on, everybody? This is RBT, and welcome to what is the 10 hardest superstar players to trade for in Madden 19 franchise mode. Now, before we even get into the video, I want you guys to listen to this. Yo, that's my esophagus. So, I'm sick. So, if I sound like I am dying in this video, it's because I'm sick. Hence why there wasn't a video on the first time for months in the channel yesterday. So I apologize if I sound bad in the video. As soon as this video does get posted, I'm going to the doctor. So wish me luck, please. But anyways, dudes, today, like I did say, we are doing the top 10, or not the top 10, but just the 10 hardest superstar players to trade for in Madden 19. I did a video a few days ago showing you guys the easiest superstars to trade for, and this was one of the top suggested comments. And I did a video like this last year, but I'm going about this video different, which I think would be better for you guys. So what this means by the hardest superstar players to trade for, like there's a difference in players being really easy to get. There's a difference in players being impossible to get, which means no matter what you trade for, you cannot get the player no matter what. And there's also a difference in the hardest players to get, because in this video, every single player we trade for is going to be a possible player to trade for in year one of Madden 19 franchise. But it's gonna take a lot. It's gonna take a heck of a lot, but it is a possibility to trade for them. So hopefully, guys, do enjoy this video, and if you do, make sure to drop a like. And guys, if we can smash 2,000 likes on today's video, I'll come out with another video over the weekend where I'll show you 10 other superstar players to trade for in Madden 19 franchise. Be sure to subscribe if you are new and turn on the notification bell if you haven't. With that said, let's get into the very first superstar player that is hard to get in Madden 19 franchise. And we're going to be going to the Houston Texans, and DeAndre Hopkins is the first player. Now, you might be asking me, why am I choosing the Philadelphia Eagles for all these videos? Just because blatantly they have a lot of good players, and it just kind of makes these videos a little bit easier to like transition from trade to trade without having to like create a whole new franchise each time, because they have like a lot of good players to trade away in deals like this. So with that said, it is going to take a lot, but we will be able to get DeAndre Hopkins. So their number one need is left tackle, so we'll throw in Jason Peters. And one of their other needs is right tackle, so we'll throw in Lane Johnson. We'll show you how close the deal is to going through now. So that's about 3/4 of the way going through. Now, if we threw in a second-round draft pick, I don't even think a second-round draft pick is good enough to bring in DeAndre Hopkins. It will have to be a first. Just kidding, I lied. But this still does show you, obviously it seemed easy off the bat because we had a lot of good players we could trade for at their top two positions of need. But it is two 90-plus overall players with the second-round draft pick added in to bring in DeAndre Hopkins. Now, trust me, there are players in this list of 10 superstar players to get that are hard to get, that are a lot harder to get than DeAndre Hopkins. But when you compare this to my other video, he's a little bit like harder to get than the players in my top 10 easiest superstar players to trade for in Madden 19. So with that said, let's go on to the next player in this top 10. And I guess we will go ahead and go to the Dallas Cowboys and try to get a left tackle immediately back. And that is Tyron Smith, a 95 overall left tackle that is in the prime of his career. So if you start a franchise with a team that needs a left tackle, aka the Browns, he could be a beautiful player to bring in. Now, what they do need is a tight end, and we have a tight end that we can't trade away in Zach Ertz. Also, they need a strong safety. We have a really good strong safety in Malcolm Jenkins, who is 94 overall. They're interested in both of these guys, and that's actually a little bit less than what the initial offer was in our first trade for DeAndre Hopkins. So I don't think a second-round draft pick will be accepted for this one, but we can at least try. We'll try a second-round draft pick, but I'm 99% sure it's going to take a first-round draft pick to bring in Tyron Smith. And it might not even be just a first-round draft pick, which we'll get into in just a second. We'll throw this into the deal, and it's still declined. So what we have to do in this scenario is get the number one overall draft pick to be able to have that deal get accepted. So this is where it's borderline like impossible to get the player, but it's actually not. But it just does take like the best draft pick available to bring in Tyron Smith. So if we go to the Cleveland Browns, who at the beginning of the franchise do have the number one overall draft pick, it will take quite a bit to get this number one overall draft pick. So if we throw in Jordan Hicks, we can also throw in maybe one of these linebackers they want. They don't, but maybe we can throw in a backup running back by chance and be able to get this number one overall draft pick. Throw in Corey Clement into the deal. and this was still declined. So that's how much like they highly value the #1 overall draft pick. We also throw in, let's say, a 4th round draft pick. Maybe this will be accepted, and it was. So now what we have to do is back into the trade center, go back to the Dallas Cowboys, and try to once again bring in Tyron Smith, but this time throwing in the #1 overall draft pick instead of the #10 overall draft pick. So #1, also throw in Zach Ertz, and last but not least, strong safety Malcolm Jenkins. This should be accepted, and we will try, and it was. So it takes a lot, but we do end up landing 95 overall Tyron Smith. Now moving on to the next player, and this is going to be another wide receiver for this video, and that is going to be the LA Chargers wide receiver Keenan Allen. Now problem is we just traded away our middle linebacker, so we can't give them their #1 need. We can give them their #2 need in Nigel Bradham. Unfortunately, already traded away Lane Johnson, so we're not able to give them their #3 need. But right outside linebacker, we don't have any good right outside linebacker, so now we are kind of screwed. So they probably will want, so we'll go with our highest overall players. How about throwing in a guy like Jason Kelce if they want him? They do. So submit this through, and that's about exactly the same, kind of actually in between the interest between Tyron Smith and DeAndre Hopkins. So I'm not quite sure if we're going to need that #1 overall draft pick back from the Cowboys, which we just traded them, and it is declined. But maybe we can get a player they want more than Jason Kelce, since he is a 30-year-old center. So how about Brandon Graham added into the deal instead? They don't want Brandon Graham, which is weird because he's at 93 overall. Maybe we just go ahead and trade on DeAndre Hopkins in the deal, since we already got him for the point of the video. Submit this through, and it actually went down even more, which makes sense because we're getting a wide receiver, so that's kind of weird. So maybe Michael Bennett or Jay Ajayi. Maybe they want Jay Ajayi. They don't. Ronald Darby, since he is a young, good corner, maybe they don't want Ronald. So how about Fletcher Cox? They do want Fletcher. Submit this through, and now this one was accepted. So it took a pretty good bit, but we do end up getting Keenan Allen from the LA Chargers. So next we're going to go for the lowest overall player in this list, but yet he is still, I would consider for sure, a superstar that will develop into a 90 overall player in your connected franchise, and that is Ha Ha Clinton-Dix from the Green Bay Packers. And don't let his overall fool you, because he is extremely hard to get. Now, the Packers do want a right guard. Good thing we do have a right guard we can trade away. They do need a corner. They have a couple good corners. Jalen Mills, who we could trade away in the deal. And that is about 3/4 of the way to going through. And now I think actually, potentially, like a 2nd round draft pick would be enough to make this deal get accepted. And it was declined. So I think a 1st round draft pick would be enough, but just for the sake of the video, let's see if we can keep that 1st round draft pick to keep things. I went ahead and traded for all the 1st round draft picks back, so it just made the video go a little bit more smoother. But if we throw in Ronald Darby instead of Jalen Mills, I think this will not be accepted. So that sucks. So I think it is going to take a 1st round draft pick. So 2 players they're very highly interested in, and a 1st round draft pick for Ha Ha Clinton-Dix. And finally, it was accepted, as Ha Ha Clinton-Dix will be coming to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, we're going to be going back to the LA Chargers for the 2nd time in this video to go and get a player, which I wish was Joey Bosa, but Joey Bosa, I tried over and over again when I was prepping for this video. Can't get him. It's like you can get extremely close, but you can't get him. So we'll go on the opposite side of the D-line and try to bring in Melvin Ingram Jr. Now, Melvin Ingram, a very good player, but a hard player to get in Madden 19 connected franchise. Now, unfortunately, we don't have any of the top 3 positions of need currently on the team. So, we do have their wide receivers, so maybe we can trade them Keenan Allen back. It's crazy they don't have a wide receiver as one of their top 5 needs, but I'm pretty sure they would want Keenan Allen. Next, we can throw in a guy such as, maybe they want Brandon Graham rather. They don't want Brandon Graham. Next, maybe they want Jason Kelce. They do. So submit this through, and that's about as close as the Tyron Smith trade was. So unfortunately, a 2nd round draft pick isn't going to be enough. It was declined. So I don't even know if a normal first round draft pick would be enough to bring in Melvin Ingram. So to show you guys once again, we'll throw in a first round draft pick, the number 1 overall draft pick for Melvin Ingram, and this was accepted. So once again, it takes a ton, but we do end up getting Melvin Ingram from the LA Chargers. So next in this list, we're going to go after a player that was very common to trade for last year, but this year it's kind of flip-flopped, and he's almost impossible to get, and that is Julio Jones. This year, a 98 overall. He is extremely hard to get, but if he's in this video, you can actually trade for him, and I'll show you how right here. DeAndre Hopkins added into the deal since they do need a wide receiver. They do also need a defensive tackle, Tim Jernigan, who they are interested in. The trade is declined, but I think maybe we can get away with the first round draft pick that I just traded for instead of the number 1 overall draft pick, and actually that was declined. So I'm not even sure if the number 1 overall draft pick will boost us up enough, and just kidding, it was. So it does take the number 1 overall draft pick, DeAndre Hopkins, and Tim Jernigan to bring in Julio Jones to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now moving on next to another player that is extremely hard to get in today's video, moving on to the New Orleans Saints, and that is going to be 95 overall veteran Cameron Jordan, who much like last year, or complete opposite of last year, he was pretty easy to get. This year, not a thing, but you can actually get him, but it's going to take a hot minute. So to make things a little bit smoother on me, I went ahead and started a whole new connected franchise. Just started like with a clean slate of stuff to trade away, but I did go ahead and get the number 1 and number 2 draft pick to hopefully make things easier for this video. But anyways, going back to Cameron Jordan, so they do need a left outside linebacker. We have Nigel Bradham back. Strong safety, we do have Malcolm Jenkins. See if this is a little bit like more likely to go through. And see, that's about 3/4 again. I think we don't have to trade away our number 1 overall draft pick, but we still have the number 10 overall draft pick, submitting this through, and that one was accepted to bring in Cameron Jordan to the Philadelphia Eagles. So a little bit simpler right there. Moving on next, a couple more players to go, and they're pretty good players to trade for in Madden 19. Starting off, going back to the Houston Texans for the second time in this video, we're going to try and get the youngster Jadeveon Clowney. Now, 91 overall, not even in the prime of his career yet, will progress probably close to a high 99 overall player. Let's see if we can bring in the youngster. Now, they need a left tackle. We have Jason Peters back, and once again, they need a right tackle. We have Lane Johnson back. Submit this through, and that one, ooh, this might take the number 1 overall draft pick. We're going to try. It's for sure the number 10 wouldn't work, but how about the number 2 overall draft pick? Would this be accepted? And it was. So we do get Jadeveon Clowney, but I promise you if we threw in the number 10 overall draft pick, that would have not been accepted. Next, we're going to go to the LA Rams for the first time in this video and get their absolute superstar in Aaron Donald, 99 overall. But what's it going to take to bring in one of the best players in Madden 19? Now, they need a D tackle. We still have Fletcher Cox now. Now, the outside linebacker positions, unfortunately, we no longer have Nigel Bradham as we just traded him away. But we do have a beast right guard in Brandon Brooks. Submit this through and see, I don't even know if the number 1 overall draft pick will be enough to have this trade be accepted. I'll try it, and it was declined. Problem is here, they value 93 overall Brandon Brooks at a 4-star. So if we can find one of these players, maybe Cameron Jordan, who we just got, they don't want him, which is kind of strange, but we'll go down our list. Brandon Graham by chance, they don't want him either, so that's interesting. So, Zach Ertz by chance, they do want him. Submit this through. Now, that one was accepted. Although they didn't have tight end as one of their top 5 needs, although they had right guard at one of their top 5 needs for one reason or not, they value a low overall player at a position they don't even need. Higher overall than Brandon Brooks. They value him at 5-star compared to 4. But it is what it is. We do end up getting Aaron Donald from the LA Rams. So, to get this final player in this top 10, it's going to take the number 1 overall draft pick, hence why we traded away Brandon Brooks to bring it back in. But guys, this is a really good player, and he by far is the hardest player, and took forever for me to find a way for him to actually be accepted in a trade when I was prepping for this video, and that is going to the Jacksonville Jaguars in getting their 97 overall 23-year-old cornerback Jalen Ramsey. Now, what is it going to take to bring in the man? So how about our top 2 overall players right off the bat? Aaron Donald. They don't even want Aaron Donald. Crazy. They don't even want a 99 overall player, but they do want Cameron Jordan. And also, they do need a quarterback, and we have a good one in Carson Wentz. Submit this through, and actually, right off the bat, when I was making this trade, this was like the first trade I found out that it takes the number 1 overall draft pick, but I think it's going to be easy now since I know what to do. But the number 1 overall draft pick, Cameron Jordan and Carson Wentz into the deal.